Imagine a moment that changes everything, a moment so profound that it shifts your entire outlook on life. For Malin Akerman, the Swedish-Canadian actress known for her roles in Watchmen and The Proposal, such a moment came in 2014 when she met the Dalai Lama. This wasn't just another Hollywood story. It was an encounter that awakened something deep within her, sparking changes in her worldview, personal life, and her approach to spirituality and mindfulness. Can you picture the power of a meeting that makes you rethink how you live, love, and connect with the world around you? Malin Akerman's journey shows us the power of living in the moment. Subscribe channel and learn how you can too. The background leading to her meeting with the Dalai Lama. Before meeting the Dalai Lama, Malin Akerman was no stranger to the relentless demands of the entertainment industry. The glitz and glamour often mask an undercurrent of stress, a constant struggle to balance work, personal life, and inner peace. As a successful actress, mother, and public figure, Akerman faced countless pressures, each demanding her undivided attention. Who among us hasn't felt overwhelmed by the weight of our responsibilities, torn between the needs of work, family, and our own well-being? During these chaotic times, Akerman found herself drawn to mindfulness practices. It wasn't easy to navigate the noise. But there was something about meditation that spoke to her, a promise of quiet amidst the clamor, a whisper of peace. It was in the search for balance, meaning, and tranquility that Akerman found herself attending an event in 2014, where she would meet the Dalai Lama. Imagine standing in the presence of someone who exudes nothing but calm, wisdom, and love. The Dalai Lama, a symbol of compassion, inner peace, and the interconnectedness of all beings, left a lasting mark on her. Could a single meeting inspire a deeper understanding of the beauty of living in the present moment? For Akerman, it certainly did, the meeting and its immediate impact. When Malin Akerman met the Dalai Lama, she was struck by his presence, his humility, his humor, and the genuine warmth that radiated from him. He was not just a religious figure but a living embodiment of love, hope, and humanity. What struck her the most was his message about compassion, not only towards others but also towards oneself. How often do we forget to be kind to ourselves? How often do we forget that we deserve the same love we give to others? For Akerman, this was a pivotal moment, one that brought with it a profound sense of peace and clarity. The Dalai Lama's teachings seemed to provide the tools she had been seeking to lead a more fulfilled life, a life guided by mindfulness and empathy. The impact was immediate. She returned to her everyday life with a newfound determination to be more present, to live more mindfully, and to treat herself and others with more compassion. She began placing greater emphasis on emotional connection, whether she was on set, with her son, or engaging with her community. She spoke about her desire to be present in all aspects of her life, embracing each moment as it came. Don't we all long for that? The ability to truly live, rather than merely exist, moving from one obligation to the next. The influence of Buddhist values in her life. Though Malin Akerman has never publicly identified as a practicing Buddhist, her actions and values have certainly resonated with many of the core tenets of Buddhism. One of the most significant influences the Dalai Lama had on her was her growing dedication to mindfulness, to truly being in the present. In Buddhism, mindfulness is not just a practice but a way of life. It's about embracing each moment as it unfolds, without judgment or distraction. Akerman began to see the value in that, to cherish each laugh with her son, each moment on set, each breath. Isn't that what we're all yearning for? To live our lives fully, instead of watching them pass us by? Another principle that found its way into Akerman's heart was compassion. The Dalai Lama teaches that compassion, karuna, is essential to understanding our shared humanity. We are all connected, all fighting our own battles, and kindness is what binds us. This resonated deeply with Akerman, who began incorporating compassion into her everyday interactions, treating everyone she met with more empathy, more understanding. Imagine a world where we all approached each other with compassion first. Wouldn't that change everything? As a mother, these principles also influenced how she approached parenting. She emphasized the importance of being patient, nurturing, and present with her son, qualities that align with the Buddhist principle of right mindfulness. Creating a space of love, support, and understanding became her goal. Can you think of anything more beautiful than offering your child the gift of true presence? Of showing them they are valued, moment by moment. Changes in her professional and personal life. The entertainment industry can often be cutthroat, filled with competition and ego. But after her encounter with the Dalai Lama, Malin Akerman chose to bring something different to her work. She began focusing less on the external markers of success, the fame, the accolades, and more on the joy of the creative process itself. This shift reflects the Buddhist idea of non-attachment, the understanding that clinging to outcomes often leads to suffering. Instead, she began letting go, enjoying the moment, the collaboration, the art of storytelling. It's a lesson for all of us. How often do we become attached to a particular result, only to feel devastated if it doesn't work out? But what if, instead, we could find joy in the journey itself, in the act of creating, of being, of sharing? On a personal level, Akerman also embraced the idea of interconnectedness. The Dalai Lama often speaks of how our actions, no matter how small, create ripples that impact others. Akerman realized that her platform gave her the opportunity to create positive ripples. She began investing more time in charity work and environmental activism, understanding the importance of caring for her community and the world at large. Isn't it powerful to know that our actions, no matter how small, can make a difference? Similarities with Buddhist philosophy. Malin Akerman's journey embodies many of the principles found in Buddhist philosophy: mindfulness, compassion, interconnectedness. She has embraced the idea that true happiness is not found in material success but in cultivating a compassionate heart and a mindful presence. Her journey is a modern, open approach to spirituality, not confined by the rules of any single religion but guided by what resonates with her soul. Isn't that a reminder for us all? To listen to what truly speaks to us, to find what brings us peace, and to follow that path, regardless of whether it fits neatly into a box or label. Akerman's encounter with the Dalai Lama served as a catalyst, helping her bring more depth, purpose, and meaning to her life. She is striving to be more present, more compassionate, and more connected, qualities that Buddhism encourages, but which are universally meaningful, expanding her journey, living with greater purpose. As time passed, Malin Akerman's journey didn't just plateau after her initial meeting with the Dalai Lama. Rather, it expanded into a life deeply rooted in purpose, introspection, and an ever-evolving understanding of mindfulness. Her commitment to incorporating these principles into her day-to-day life became even more evident as she continued to share her experiences publicly and through her actions. One of the most significant ways she has chosen to expand upon the lessons learned from the Dalai Lama is by making a conscious effort to engage in mindful activism. Akerman began to view her influence not as an opportunity for self-promotion, but as a means to give back. Whether by using her platform to raise awareness for global issues or by making time to participate in charitable endeavors, her focus has shifted to making a meaningful difference in the world. Can you imagine the impact we could all make if we decided to use whatever influence we have to serve others? This was evident when she became involved with organizations dedicated to helping vulnerable communities, children, and the environment. She recognized that the interconnectedness she had learned about wasn't an abstract concept, it was a tangible force that required action. How we treat others, how we treat our environment, these things all come full circle. By participating in various philanthropic activities, Malin found new meaning in her role as a public figure, allowing her to act on the compassion that had been ignited within her by the Dalai Lama's teachings, mindfulness, and the art of acting. The influence of the Dalai Lama's teachings also had a profound impact on how Malin Akerman approached her craft as an actress. Acting, at its core, requires a deep connection to the material, to the character, and to the other actors on set. By embracing mindfulness, Akerman found herself more immersed in her roles. Rather than overthinking each line or worrying about how she would be perceived, she began to allow herself to truly be in the moment, mindfulness allowed her to listen more deeply, to herself, her fellow actors, and even to the unspoken nuances of a scene. It wasn't just about delivering lines, it was about feeling each word, each movement, each emotion. The experience became less about performing and more about connecting, to the character's story, to her own experiences, and to the audience. And isn't that what acting is ultimately about? Creating a connection so genuine that those watching can feel it too. This shift not only made her performances richer but also made her work more fulfilling. It wasn't about perfection anymore, it was about presence. She began to understand that the beauty of her craft lay not in flawless execution but in the authenticity of each moment she created. By letting go of self-imposed pressure and embracing the present, she discovered the freedom to explore her characters more deeply. And in that freedom, she found joy, deepening relationships with loved ones. Malin Akerman's personal life was equally transformed by her encounter with the Dalai Lama. Mindfulness became a guiding force in her relationships, particularly in her role as a mother. She realized that being a parent wasn't just about providing for her child or meeting his needs, it was about truly being there. Moment by moment, imagine the difference between merely spending time with someone and truly being present with them. It can be easy, especially with the demands of a busy schedule, to go through the motions, to be physically present but mentally miles away. Akerman made the choice to change that. She wanted her son to know that he was valued, that each moment with him mattered. And she began to practice mindfulness in her interactions with him, listening without distraction, engaging without judgment, and loving without conditions. This change wasn't without its challenges. In a world that often glorifies multitasking and constant productivity, choosing to slow down and focus on the present moment can feel almost radical. But Akerman found that the rewards far outweighed the difficulties. The bond with her son grew stronger. She discovered a new depth of joy in the simple moments, whether it was reading a bedtime story, sharing a meal, or just sitting quietly together. How many of us yearn for that kind of deep connection, yet find ourselves pulled away by the demands of daily life? Her relationships with friends and loved ones also benefited from this shift. By prioritizing mindfulness, she was able to offer her full presence to those around her. She found that the quality of her connections deepened. Conversations became richer, more meaningful. She was no longer just hearing, she was truly listening. Truly understanding. And in doing so, she was able to offer more compassion, more empathy, and more love. The role of non-attachment in finding happiness. One of the Dalai Lama's teachings that resonated deeply with Malin Akerman was the concept of non-attachment. In a society that often measures success by material possessions, accolades, and the validation of others, the idea of letting go of attachment to outcomes can be both challenging and liberating. For Akerman, this was a key lesson that helped her redefine what happiness meant to her. She began to see that true happiness wasn't about acquiring more success, more fame, more things. It wasn't about the next role, the next award, or the next achievement. Instead, happiness was found in the present moment, in the connections she made, in the love she gave and received, and in the simple beauty of just being. Letting go of attachment didn't mean she stopped caring about her work or her goals. On the contrary, it allowed her to engage with them more fully, without the fear of failure or the need for external validation. She learned to give her best, to pour her heart into her work, and then to let go of the outcome. Whether a project succeeded or failed was no longer the measure of her worth. Instead, the measure was the joy she found in the process, the growth she experienced, and the impact she made. Isn't that a powerful shift? To let go of the fear that holds us back, the fear of not being good enough, of not meeting expectations, and instead to embrace the freedom of simply being, of giving our best without attachment to the result. Compassion as a guiding principle, compassion, for herself and for others, became a guiding principle in Malin Akerman's life after her meeting with the Dalai Lama. She realized that compassion wasn't just an abstract concept, it was something that had to be practiced, day in and day out. And it started with herself. How often do we speak to ourselves with harshness, criticizing our mistakes, holding ourselves to impossible standards? Akerman recognized that to truly embody compassion, she needed to extend it inward. She began practicing self-compassion, acknowledging her imperfections, forgiving herself for her mistakes, and treating herself with the same kindness she would offer to a friend. This practice of self-compassion had a ripple effect on her relationships with others. By learning to be gentle with herself, she found it easier to be gentle with those around her. She understood that everyone is fighting their own battles, that everyone has their own struggles and fears. And with that understanding came a deeper empathy, a desire to offer kindness rather than judgment, to build others up rather than tear them down. Compassion also informed her activism. She became more involved in causes that aligned with her values, whether it was advocating for children, supporting environmental initiatives, or speaking out on issues of social justice. She understood that her actions, no matter how small, could make a difference. And she wanted to use her platform to spread a message of love, understanding, and unity. The ripple effect, inspiring others. Malin Akerman's journey didn't just transform her own life, it also inspired those around her. By sharing her experiences, she became a beacon for others who were seeking a deeper sense of meaning and fulfillment. Her story is a reminder that transformation is possible, that even in the midst of a demanding career, even with the pressures of daily life, we can choose to live more mindfully, more compassionately, more fully. She spoke openly about her journey, sharing the lessons she had learned and the challenges she had faced. She didn't present herself as someone who had it all figured out. Instead, she was honest about the ups and downs, the moments of doubt, and the ongoing nature of her journey. And in that honesty, others found hope. They saw that they, too, could make changes, that they, too, could find a way to live more meaningfully. Her influence extended beyond her immediate circle. Through interviews, public appearances, and her social media presence, she used her platform to encourage others to explore mindfulness, to practice compassion, and to seek out the beauty of the present moment. She showed that mindfulness wasn't just for monks or spiritual leaders, it was for everyone. It was for the busy parent, the overwhelmed professional, the person trying to make sense of the chaos of life. A continuing journey. Malin Akerman's journey is far from over. The lessons she learned from the Dalai Lama continue to guide her, but she knows that mindfulness, compassion, and non-attachment are not destinations, they are practices, choices that must be made each day. Some days are easier than others. There are still moments of stress, moments of doubt, moments when the demands of life threaten to pull her away from the present. But she has learned to return to her breath, to return to the moment, to return to the values that have brought her peace. She continues to explore her spirituality in a way that feels authentic to her. She doesn't feel the need to label herself or to fit neatly into a specific belief system. Instead, she draws from the teachings that resonate with her, from the experiences that have touched her heart, and from the wisdom she has gained along the way. Her spirituality is fluid, open, and deeply personal, a reflection of her own journey toward understanding, connection, and love. Conclusion. The power of a single encounter. Malin Akerman's meeting with the Dalai Lama in 2014 was more than just a fleeting moment. It was a transformative experience that reshaped her perspective on life. It deepened her commitment to mindfulness and compassion, influencing both her personal relationships and her professional career. Though she may not call herself a Buddhist, her actions reflect the core values of Buddhist teachings: living with empathy, being present, and recognizing our shared humanity. Her journey reminds us that sometimes, a single encounter can change the trajectory of our lives. It encourages us to lead more mindful, compassionate lives, to understand that happiness is not something we find in achievements but in the kindness we extend, both to ourselves and to others. Isn't that what we're all searching for, at the end of the day? A way to live more fully, love more deeply, and find peace within ourselves. By sharing her experience, Malin Akerman invites us all to pause, to breathe, and to remember what truly matters. True happiness lies not in the spotlight, but in the quiet, kind moments that fill our hearts. moments we can all create every single day. And perhaps that is the most powerful lesson of all, that we have the ability to change our lives, one mindful moment at a time.